everyone, this is Mad Nomad. This is a demo of my new Rest Manager extension. So this extension is all about enhancing resting in the game, short rests, long rests. It's an area that you may be thinking, well, you may not have much of a problem with it already. You're not seeing where the need for it is. Well, I'm going to show you in this extension why maybe there's some things you haven't even thought about that you might want. And I think this will really improve resting and campaign tracking for your games. So let's see how it works. First of all, it starts by integrating with the existing resting functionality in the combat tracker. So you open it up just like you would. The difference is instead of hitting, when you do short and long rest now, it doesn't automatically do the rest. It opens up the Rest Manager window. Now there is still a way to automatically apply those. I'll show you in a minute. But this is the main window for everything in this extension. You'll see here at the top that it tracks the current campaign date and time. So it helps you always keep in sync with the calendar. The calendar is something that I found a lot of games, DMs and players don't really keep up to date with it. And that's because it's kind of difficult to manage, unless you're really diligent about it, by doing it organically. And what this extension does is actually really helps with your calendar management as well. And you can just straight through the Rest Manager automatically adjust the hours or open it up like you saw here to go change days or whatever you need to do. And this helps you keep a log of the campaign over time. And you also see here when the last long rest was. This is all automatically tracked, as I'll show you. And then there's some options if you want to do a short rest, a long rest, or rest for a certain number of hours. I'll show you the differences here in a minute. But let's start off with just the short rest. You can also add notes. And you can add whatever you want here. I think there's a bunch of different ways people might use this to track where the party is or anything interesting going on, things they're working on or something during the rest, whatever. Below that, you have your encounter chance. So this will determine if you want to make it random, what are the chances that they're going to be encountered in the middle of the rest. Now, you might just decide you're going to control that manually. There is or isn't an encounter. But as a DM, sometimes I like to take myself out of the equation, so I'm kind of surprised by it. And it's not just my will. There's some randomness to it. So this will help automate that. So let's go ahead and put in 50% chance, right? And then you can go ahead and start the rest. And when you start it, it'll tell you the outcome. So this is a 40, which is lower than the 50% chance, which means that there is a rest. Or is it an encounter? So you see it says here encounter, and it tells you what the current time is when the encounter happens. And this gets granular. It looks at sometime randomly between the 60 minutes of a short rest in this case. And I'll show you how long it works in a long rest. But in this case, it advanced the time to 155. And the watch number is 0 because this is a short rest. It doesn't apply. And then has there been any rest applied? In this case, no. Right? So in this situation, you would handle the encounter like normal. And then when you're done, you come back and you can hit finish, interrupt the rest. That'll advance to what the time would have been if there wasn't an encounter, sort of the remaining hour that the party needed for the short rest. And then it applies the actual short rest like normal. Now, long rest, similar but different. So here, watches are normally more relevant, and it automatically defaults to the number of watches that you have on the party sheet, but you can adjust this to however many or few you want for watches. And you can define which players are on watch during which watches. Then below that, there's a section about what's tracking the details of the watch. Now, a lot of people may not get into this, and that's totally fine. But if you want to, you can track whether people have food or not. Are they wearing armor in sleep or not? Do they have stuff for comfort? And some DMs will apply exhaustion based on whether or not they sleep with their armor on or not. And I don't know if it's part of the official rules, but there's definitely some custom rules for that. So right now, this is all just sort of manual, but if there's enough desire for it and it gets good reception, I might automate some of this as well so players can integrate with this and automatically take their armor off and on. For now, I'm not sure if enough people use that to work on it, but you still have it here as a place to track it. Then notice we already covered how that works. Well, I'm going to show you here something slightly different. And then the encounter chance. So in this time, we're going to do 100% because I wanted to make sure to show you how that works for a long rest. So first thing you'll notice is, it hasn't been 8 hours since our last long rest because you look up here and I rested before this demo. So as a DM, you can choose to just ignore that, right? Or you can open the calendar and adjust the time. Or you can cancel and say, oh yeah, I forgot you guys just rested, so you can't really do a long rest now. So you can choose how you want to have that. For now, we'll just ignore it, proceed, and it does the rest. The outcome says that, oh, well, there was an encounter, and it happens on watch 2, and it advanced to the watch 2 time frame. But because watch 2 is more than an hour in, it actually applies a short rest as well, because technically they would have received a short rest at that point. And then you can do the encounter and finish it when you come back, and then it will apply the long rest. And you notice I mentioned the notes, so let me show you where the notes go. We open up the calendar and you look at the log. You'll see that it logs every time a rest is completed, and if your notes are added, it will add the notes here that you've made. So that's the gist of the note-taking, the calendar integration, and the rest tracking. There's also the buttons here for manual, short, and long. When these replicate the old version, where it doesn't worry about all the calendar stuff. It just instantly applies the effects of a short or a long rest to the party. So if you just find yourself in a situation where you need to do that and you don't want to worry about those other features, you still have that available to you as well. As I mentioned, you can open the window from the combat tracker, but you can also open it with just a \rest command. So that's another way to access that. And I think that is pretty much it. So I hope you guys enjoy this. I think that this will really help you indirectly use the calendar a lot better and have better ways to track progress of time in your campaigns, and to add some more dynamics to the encounter, or to the rests and watches and random encounters for sleeping. All right, I hope you guys enjoy. Thanks as always.